Hello, and welcome to another edition of Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. Here at Delta Media Group, our island of misfit toys is filled with mostly old server equipment. So, today we are going to take a look at the lead settings page. Now, this is a very important page. It determines where your leads go, it determines some things about what kind of leads you get, depending on what the company lead settings look like, stuff like that. And we've made some changes to it recently. So we wanted to make sure to get back into that page and just kind of give it another good once over so we can take a look at everything on it and see what you can do on that page and get yourself familiarized with it. So let's go into the DeltaNet and take a look at it. So to get there, we are going to go down to Leads and Contacts and click on Settings. And we can see there's an admin control setting, so this is only going to show up for admins here at the top. But as we move down, you can see the various settings that will be available to you to control how you can get different leads. So depending on what you have, there might be some different settings on here. So yours may not be an exact match for this page because some of these are kind of feature-based. But let's take a look here at broadcast availability. So the first thing this will do is if your company is broadcasting out leads, you can use this checkbox to opt out of those broadcast leads. We look at this mostly like what it says here, if this is like a vacation kind of thing, because you wouldn't want leads to be broadcast with you and just sit with you and not be addressed while you're on vacation. So if you're still going to handle your leads while you're on vacation, then you shouldn't check this box. But if you're going to be out of the country or something and you're not going to be able to handle the leads, it's a good idea to check this so that those broadcast leads go to agents that can handle them right away. So that is an option that's available there. You can see with each one of these, I click this arrow to expand the section. And then I have a Save Preferences button in each section. So it just makes it more convenient for you. The old version, you had to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page to hit Save. And now you can just click the Save Preferences in each section. So one thing to keep in mind there is that if I make a bunch of changes in different sections and I click Save Preferences, what that's going to do is save the entire page. So it's just something worth keeping in mind. So we'll close that one out. And we'll take a look, just kind of a real brief look at these text shortcodes. So the way this system works is you have a number up here, and like I said, this is something that is not available to everybody. It just depends on whether the company's signed up for this platform or not. But what it allows you to do is you can put a sign on in the yard of a listing, and then they can text a string, we'll say, basically a word or a phrase to this number, and in doing so, the system will send them a response automatically, and the response is going to have a URL in it that they can click on to open up your website and look at a map view or a listing detail page that fits certain circumstances. So here's the idea. So there's a default code for this, but you'll have to, the company can provide what the default code is, or you can override what the default code is here. And when somebody texts whatever code is here to this number, they're going to get back the listing detail page for the listing that they are closest to. So the idea is if a customer is standing in the front yard of a listing and they text listing detail and a number to this number, they're going to get back a URL that will take them to the detail page for that listing so that they can view more information on it. And actually let's try that again. Listing we'll text them all the listings that are closest to them, and then detail, text them the link to the detail page. So that's the difference with these two. The last one, we'll text them a map that'll show all the open houses that are nearest to them. So we got detail and list backwards there at first. So one more time. The first one, texted to that phone number, we'll send them a map with the listings closest to them. Second one, sends them a link to the detail page for the single listing that is closest to them. And Open House sends them a link to a map that shows all of the open houses that are closest to them. So all of it's about a geolocation-based search. When they click the link, they get in the text message, they'll have to confirm access or allow access to the geolocation information on their phone in order to be able to see that map and in order for it to hone in on their location. So that is what these are. And like anything else, if you have any questions on those, I know they got a little convoluted in there, just let us know. But like I said, this is only available to those that have signed up for it. Now, next we have the zip code settings. So if your company is using the zip code settings to decide who to broadcast leads to, this is how the system knows what zip codes belong to you. So it is a good idea to go in here and enter all the zip codes for all the areas that you want to service. And you can have up to 40 by default, but the company can define a larger or smaller number of total zip codes that you can put in there. Next, you can put in a minimum price for these broadcast leads. So the idea is if you only want to receive opportunities for broadcast leads for listings with a price of over a certain threshold, you can put that number in here. So you'll only get broadcast opportunities for, if I put 100,000 in here, then I'm only going to see broadcast opportunities for leads that came in on listings with a listing price of over $100,000. The idea there is it's very restrictive. So I mean, you can do this, and there's certainly nothing to stop you from using this feature as long as it's turned on by the company. But the idea is that if somebody sends in something just below your threshold, maybe you would still be interested in it, so you wouldn't want to lose out on that. This thing has no flexibility, so it's not. If a lead comes in on a $99,999 listing, if you have this set as $100,000, it's not going to pick it up. So that's something worth keeping in mind if you do use this feature. And generally, it's a good idea to not put in a minimum here. That way you get as much opportunity as you can. Now next we have minimum rental price. This is exactly the same thing, except for leads on rental listings. Next we have requests on your own listings. So the idea here is if the company is set up that way, and generally they are by default, any request on your listing would often go to you. If you only want to see the requests on your listings over a certain price threshold, you can do that here also. Or if you don't want to get the leads on any of your own listings, if you're only generally only representing sellers and you're not really interested in being a buyer's agent, then you can enter 0 here, and you'll never get any of the lead opportunities that come in on your own listings. So it's just a level of customization there that allows you to kind of fine-tune the leads you get to better match your business. So that is how you would set this up. Just put in a minimum price and save that one. Next, you can choose whether or not you want to be carbon copied on any of the Homefinder emails or the Save Search emails that go out to your customers. If you check this, it'll automatically CC you on all those emails. Now the Market Watch setting does the same thing for Market Watch. AVM, this allows you to turn off the leads that you would get on AVM listings. So if the AVM system is turned on for your company, it would also be turned on for your agent site at that point. So if a customer goes to your website and they enter an address into the What's My Home Worth field, that's the AVM system, the system by default will generate a door knock opportunity lead. So it won't have any contact information right away because it's just an address, that's all they put in. But it will send you that address as a lead, so you'll be able to see that somebody filled out the form, and it'll show you their address, and you'll have to process that lead or mark it as processed, and then decide if you want to market to them. Now the idea is you could put them all in a group, and you could print out mailing labels for them, and you could actually send them physical mailers since you have a physical mailing address. If you don't want those leads, or if you don't have a have a plan to deal with them, you can just click this box and save it, and that'll disable those leads. So when people just fill out an address, you won't get a lead for those. But if they fill out an address and then on the actual AVM page, they fill out one of the call to action forms there, you would still get that lead. Next, and this is probably one of the most important ones on this page, this allows you to define some of the email and SMS related settings for how you get leads and for how you get lead notifications. So first, we have HTML with link. You can limit your lead notifications to just a text-based email instead of HTML. This was really kind of a legacy system because just about every email client out there now will support HTML without a problem. So that is the way you will want to receive those leads. But the option is still here to make it text with a link or text with no link. And it's just a matter of really old email clients wouldn't support all that HTML. So you can set them up that way to make sure that you get them on those old clients. So you'll just want to leave that one on HTML with link. Send lead notices to allows you to enter an email address or multiple email addresses. So if I put in here, so if I put that email address in here, I'm going to get all of my lead notifications at that address instead of what I have set up as my public email address. So that way all the emails that go out on my behalf will have that public email address on them. but my lead notifications will come into this one. So the idea is if you have like my Delta Group email address, if I wanted to use that as my public address, but I wanted my lead notices to come into a Gmail address because I check that one more often maybe, then that's what I would use this field for. I can also put a comma here, and I can put in a second email address if I want those notifications to go to multiple addresses. Or if I have multiple people I want to notify when I get a lead, like say I want to be notified, but I also want to notify my, I have an office assistant, something like that I want to be notified, I can put both addresses here, and then those notifications go to both people. So that is what you can do with that field. Next, you can set your email type, which you'll just leave that on POP3. Again, the other options in there were available for some older systems that just aren't really being used anymore. So if you were using a web-based email client or a mobile device as your primary email client, you used to be able to, or you used to have to kind of set these to have them formatted for those devices. And now everything should handle POP3 just fine. So you can leave that on its default. Next, what we just added in here is an HTML editor for your lead signature. So this allows you to actually add things like pictures and formatting to the lead signature that's automatically going to be attached to the emails that the system sends out to customers on your behalf. So that's kind of nice. This is the same kind of editor you'll see for the page editor and all the pages and everything. So you can put in links, you can put in pictures. Like if I click here for a picture, I can browse and I can add a picture in here. You just want to make sure not to go too crazy there. If you add a lot of great big pictures in there, that's going to kind of take over your email. So keep in mind that this is just a lead signature. And then you can also insert your social media links automatically if you have any saved on your overviews page in the system. Now when you add those links in, you can tell it to automatically convert those to the icons, so they're clickable icons instead of the actual Facebook URL. So instead of saying facebook.com/ and your page ID and all that stuff, if you switch this to yes, it'll automatically just put an icon there instead, and then people can just click your Facebook icon. Next, you can add in SMS numbers. This is part of the upgrade package. So if you click add new number, it'll bring up this field where you can put in numbers. You put in your phone number. It's a good idea to send yourself a test message to make sure you get it. And you can add as many numbers as you want. So just like the email addresses, if you want the lead notices to be texted to more than one phone number, you can just keep adding more than one in here. Once you have all your numbers in, just like every other section, you'll go up here and click on Save Preferences, and that'll save those numbers. So then your lead notices will be text messaged to those numbers in addition to sending you the email. Now next here, you have some ability to control what fields are required on your contact forms on your web page. So you can see this is specifically for the Contact Us form, this is specifically for the Showing Request form, and this is for the My Portfolio or the Saved Search Sign Up form. And what these do is allow you to require the phone numbers if you want. You just check those boxes and hit Save, and that'll do that. Next we have the Share My Leads system. So this allows you to actually share your leads with other agents in the company. You just select them over here and hit the share button. Once you have them selected, you can select more than one at once by just holding down the control key or the command key to select more than one, and then you'll hit share unprocessed leads, and that'll move them over here, and then you can select them and hit remove to remove them. The idea here is that there's a team platform that's kind of built to handle this sort of thing, but if you're just working with another agent, you can share your leads with them so that they can see all of your unprocessed leads. So if a lead comes in, before you process it, they'll be able to see it. Once it's processed, they won't be able to see it anymore. Likewise, you have share processed leads. So with this, that would be after the lead's processed, they can see it. So they wouldn't be able to see it while it's unprocessed, and then after you process it, they would be able to see it in their own customer center so that they can kind of correspond and interact with that lead. If you want to share, in both scenarios, you can add the same agents to both. So I could select 5 agents here, same 5 agents here, and share both of them. And then they'll be able to see all of my processed and unprocessed leads. They can just go to their own customer center, see my leads, and it'll let them get to those overviews page, set up saved searches on them, set up market watches, and just generally correspond with them and see information on them. So if you're working with another agent, that's just one way that you can kind of manage your business to allow multiple people access to those leads. Now on down the line, My Portfolio and Homefinder Leads. So these types of leads are if a customer goes to your website and they run a search and then they save that search so that they start getting email notifications, or if they go to your website and save a listing and create an account when they save the listing, or they just go to your portfolio sign-up page and click sign up and enter their contact information. All of those ways create them an account, but they haven't actually asked you for anything. So it's, they didn't go to a listing and ask for more information. They didn't ask for a showing on a listing. They just made an account so they can start getting notices by the system, or just so that they can log in and keep track of the listings they've seen and the listings that they are interested in. This allows you to determine whether or not those will create a lead when that happens. So when they create the account, it'll be in your system, you'll be able to see their information, but with these unchecked, it won't actually pop up as a new lead and notify you and ask you to contact them, or ask you to process the lead, I should say, which basically is the same thing. The idea is that when you're processing a lead, that means that new information came in, a new lead came in, and you use that information to contact them, to reach out to them in some way. If you just want to let people who created an account or saved a search come in and kind of leave them to their own devices to just go around and go through the website and browse at their leisure, but you don't actually want to reach out to them right away, you don't have to create a lead for those. If you uncheck these, it's not going to pop up as a new lead that needs processed. If you leave them checked, it will pop up as a new lead, and then you'll have to go in and process those leads. Next, this will allow you to determine whether or not you should be notified every time one of your customers adds, changes, or deletes a saved search or saves a listing. With these unchecked, you won't get any notifications when those things happen. With these checked, anytime one of your customers goes to your website and saves a search, you'll get a notice. Or if they change one of their searches, you'll get a notice. Or if they save a listing, you'll get a notice. So the idea is it just keeps you constantly informed with all the customers that are interacting with your website. And I would say it is a good idea to keep these on. The idea is, if you have a whole ton of traffic and you're just getting bombarded with email, then you can go back in and turn them off. Otherwise, it's a good idea to stay informed of that. Like, this tells you when you have an active customer using your website, saving listings and saving searches. So you can check these or not and hit save, and that'll determine how those work. And then lastly, we have mortgage lead assignment. So if there are any mortgage accounts or the mortgage system is turned on at the company level, you can go in here and you can choose from the mortgage users that the company has set up, the ones that you would like to be notified, or the single one that you would like to be notified when a request is made on a listing on your website. So on your agent site, the way this works, if it's turned on, is if someone goes to a listing detail page and they either request a showing or request more information on that listing, the system will ask them if they want to also create a mortgage lead, or it doesn't say it like that, but it asks if they also want to get more information about potentially getting a mortgage. So if they say yes to that, the system will send a lead notification to a mortgage user that's set up in the system, again, if the company has any set up. If there's multiple, this setting lets you select which one. There you go. So then you have another Save Preferences button here at the bottom, and that is all there is to it. So that is the entire lead settings page. This one got a little dry there in the middle, sorry about that. But, as always, thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to send an email into support@deltagroup.com or give us a call, and we can walk you through anything on this page or anything else to your heart's desire. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channels and pages on Facebook and YouTube so that you get notifications when we come live with new videos. And thanks a lot for joining me. I will see you next week.